G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Today I'm reviewing the Sunbeam Barista Max. So it's an espresso coffee machine. This is at the top of the Sunbeam range here. And I'm going to take you through my experiences using it, the pros and the cons, whether it's the right device for you, and also try and make a live coffee. We'll see how we go with that. So this is an Australian-made product, Sunbeam's Australian company. So that's definitely a positive. It's always something I love to promote and talk about when it's Australian made. Now this retails for $649 here in Australia, which puts it kind of in that mid-range tier. So this is kind of the manual espresso coffee making machines as opposed to the automatic ones, which is where you start to get over the $1,000 mark. And it's a bit more pricey than your budget range ones, which don't have things like the grinder built in. Now, $649 for this is a little bit of an interesting price point for me. I think it's a little bit too much for what this offers, and I'll go into that more, but only because there's other players in the market. If you've checked out my channel, you may have seen my DeLonghi La Specialista Arte review. Now that's $50 cheaper than this, but in my opinion has got a higher build quality. But I had a look online before I jumped on this video, and this tends to be going for about $4.99 in retailers though. So it is a bit cheaper actually at the point of sale. And I think that price is a bit more reflective of where this should sit and makes it a much more, a better machine at that price in my opinion. Okay, so if you want to come in and have a closer look, I'll show you what you can expect to find in the box. So you've got your group head here. You've got a couple of different filters of different sizes. So you've got 1 shot or 2 shots, or 1 cup and 2 cups is what they say. Bit of a cleaner and a jug as well. And you've got your tamper as well. So that's what you can expect to find inside. Now, I'll talk about the things that I like most about this to begin with. Obviously having the grinder in there is a bit more of an all-in-one device. If you're thinking about that lower end prices, you're going to have to come up with a grinder somewhere else and do the grinding elsewhere and then kind of put it through the machine. This having it all in the one device, it costs a bit more, but it's a better experience in my opinion. Now what I do like about this is that, well, like's an interesting word. So I'll show you when I'm making the coffee here, but when you're kind of putting in your grinding the coffee into the group head, it's manual, completely manual. So opposed to other machines, like the DeLonghi that I just mentioned, where you'll choose 1 or 2 and it will dose this amount directly in based on what you choose. So it's automated and it stops. This doesn't stop. So you can choose you choose a grinder setting from here. There's like 30 different settings or something. I've got it set at about 12 or 13 at the moment, but you can obviously experiment. And then you put in here, you put it in this the spot here, and you lower it down, and it will start grinding until you tell it to stop physically. So this is it's potentially a negative in that you don't know how much you need to dose, or how much to put in there to get, I guess, the consistency of the coffee that you want. Like what is 1 shot? That's kind of up for you to work out, and I think potentially you'll end up going through more beans as a result as you're trying to work that out or just getting it wrong. But on the positive side, you can control how high it is. And when I was using the DeLonghi, for example, that dosage amount was often not perfectly correct, and you had to end up scraping some out to get it to actually work. So that doesn't become a concern. So there's less kind of wastage in that you can see how much is in there, but then it's probably more than you need, because it is the wider 58mm cafe sized head here. So it does hold a fair amount of coffee, there's no doubt. Now, what I also like is if you come in and have a closer look here, you've got 1 or 2 cup options that you can have here, which just basically set if you want to put the 2 glass cups down here. Alternatively, if you just wake up in the morning and having a coffee, you can just do a manual shot. And I quite really like this feature because I don't think I'm either of these. I think I'm personally probably a bit more than double. And I like to kind of really kind of get a fair bit out of the coffee just before when the water's kind of coming out and it's just starting to lose its color a little bit. Whereas others who feel like it's stronger or whatever, you might want to take a different approach. So this is a manual feature, which is quite nice, and I like that they've included that. This holds a fair bit. I can't remember exactly how much, 280 grams worth of beans or whatever. And up the back, you've got quite a large 2.8 litre water tank, which as you can see is quite easy to take in and out, and also has on top this little fold back lid, so you can just pour it in with a jug if you don't want to take it over the tap. I tend to take it over the tap, but I'm tall and I can reach over nice and easily. So that's something to, I think that's pretty positive, and it's reasonably well designed. Now, the things that I kind of don't like about it, that the design of it's kind of flimsy. And I say this in terms of the other machines that I've used. Like, I don't think it's about to just fall apart, but it's got a very plasticky finishing on it, and it's very kind of loose. You can see as the drip tray comes out there, it's not really locked into place at all. The materials, like the weight of the things that you are holding, you know, if you put one from, say, DeLonghi in your hand, and it's a lot heavier, it's a lot sturdier, it's a better material. You can tell it's a better material. You can tell the jug's a better material. So the Tampa's a very different, lighter material. It doesn't have that kind of weight and gravitas to it. And that's why I was saying at the start that I feel like that $4.99 price point is probably a bit more realistic for what this is offering, because it's not the kind of, hasn't got that premium material. This is a black version, as you can see. There is a version that has that kind of stainless steel look. It's still kind of that plastic on the outside of the stainless steel, but it gives you that silver look. So if you don't like the black, that's fine. You can still go for that kind of classier, you know, the metal look. But still, the overall build quality has some challenges to it, in my opinion. It does have this thing called Temp IQ, which is a temperature control system within it, which works pretty well. So what it basically does is it uses a thermoblock and a few other bits and pieces to regulate the temperature in such a way that as it's kind of infusing through your grains, it's got a consistent temperature all the way through. Same with your milk frother. And that temperature is what's going to give you kind of that consistent temperature, is what's going to give you the best flavor. And yeah, it does a really good job at that. And at the end of the day, the coffee tastes pretty good when it comes out of this, which is what you want. Okay, so let's jump in and we'll make one and we'll go from there. Probably worth mentioning, there's no cold extraction on this. Some do have that. This device doesn't have that option. Okay, all right. So, because it's late in the afternoon, I'm just going to go for a single cup size. And now, I should mention this as well. The way this goes in and out, sometimes you get these, you've got like little wires and things inside here that kind of help hold this into place. This doesn't have that. So it sits in there fine when you're using it, but when you go to tap out the grinds, like this, which I'm not going to show you because it needs a bit of a whack, but the whole thing falls out. So that's a bit annoying. This doesn't stay in when you need to tap the actual grinds out. That's a design flaw, in my opinion. That's something I'd definitely love to see Sunbeam fix in the future. Okay, so we're going to turn her on. Now, it takes about 60 seconds or so to come to heat. We're just going to hang out and do that right now. So that's not too bad. It's not too long of a wait. And while that's happening, I'm just going to get a spare cup, because we're going to need that. I'm going to show you the milk. Not an overly loud machine, which is good. But it doesn't come with your kind of espresso glasses. Look, that's usually the case, but it doesn't come with those, and it doesn't come with a little riser. Sometimes you see a little riser up here that you can place on top so that you can get your cups closer to the spouts. All right, so I think that's us done. So all we do is you come in here, and then just pull down, and in comes the grind. Now we just go till I say not to go anymore. Which I'm going to stop it there because I don't really want to get too much coffee this late in the afternoon. And it's not going to be enough. So this is what I was saying before about needing to kind of manually doing it, as opposed to you just kind of choosing an amount and going from there. Okay, so get a little tap down. I was reading somewhere it's supposed to be 15 kilograms of pressure Isn't it? I should have pointed out at the start of this that I wouldn't consider myself to be a guru coffee connoisseur whatsoever. I grew up on instants. So I do apologise if I look like I'm a bit of a rookie, but then again, that's the point, right? You may be like me and wondering whether or not to get one of these things. All right, so let's get in a spot. Comes in from the side, locks across. I love you, mummy. In there, and you can see that's a decent sized coffee cup, and it fits. Nothing tall is going to fit. You're not going to fit your like kind of stainless steel travel mugs or anything like that under there. But that's, I'd say, a bit bigger than your normal coffee cup. And look, we'll just go with one, just so you can see it come out. I've noticed with this particular machine and a couple of the ones that are kind of these mid-range espresso machines, you don't get that big waft of coffee smell into the house, which I think is a bit of a shame. And I'll just show you while we're here. So if you just do a manual shot, you just press once and it's going to start rocking. And you can kind of see the color starting to change there. And then when you want it to stop, you just press stop. So that's the benefit of the manual, is that you are taking control of what you want to see in there. Right, now let's have a look in here. So this can swing around, of course, so you can get it out of the way as required. So you've got hot water, clean, and your steam on here. So you can that's kind of handy, just being able to just clean it straight afterwards and just spurt some water through it. Obviously the hot water is handy as well if you just want to give something a wash. Now, if we see on the steam, this is something that you need to be conscious of. It's going to come up, this is going to flash until it's ready, but it shoots out some water. So I made the mistake the first time I put in my milk straight there straight away and then pounding it full of water before I began. So just give it a little bit of time. And there we go, that's when it goes. And the milk part, which I never get in the right position. Anyway, so switch it back over to steam. You want to get this to about 60 odd degrees, which they say is being able to touch the bottom of the cup for about 3 seconds. If you're getting that whirlpool effect. I overheated this morning. Hopefully I'll get it right this time. So obviously you can go for the automatic machines. This is a lot less hands-on. You've got to kind of love your coffee a bit more. All right, and there we go. That's about right. Who wants to drink that? Hands up. Me. All right, and there we go. Better than a cafe, surely. Now, you can get this a bit of clean afterwards. Just shoot some hot water through it. And I should have my little wipe here, but I don't. But I'll sort that out in a sec. So, there we go. Now I'll show you what I mean. Hopefully my bin doesn't look atrocious right now. Oh, error. Sorry, I wasn't expecting water to come out with that. So that wasn't much coffee in there. You double that probably. And that's what I was talking about. So it doesn't take much of a tap for that to come out. You wouldn't want to accidentally put that in the bin. So you're supposed to. Anyway, please ignore the mess. So there you go, cooked the coffee with it. I've been doing that for a little bit, a few mornings now, and the coffee comes out. Look, it is tasty coffee. I haven't kind of found that it's instinctively coming up with different flavors as much as I have seen in other machines. But you know, you can experiment a bit more with it with the manual. So as you play around with it, you'll discover more. So I think overall, it's Australian made. It comes with what you need. It's a solid machine. I think if you're looking at that full recommended retail price, I think there's some other players in the market which probably supersede it simply on the quality of the build of what comes with it. But if you can find it under that $500 price point, I think this is definitely in the mix for someone who is looking for a espresso machine for home. Anyway, that's my review of the Sunbeam Barista Max. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, you.